There's one crucial document that you need to prepare, and this is the Project Communications Intelligence Brief, the PCIB. Now, this document has like all the information that you need, and this document should be filled by the organization. If this document is well filled, gives you like all the information that you need, and you know where to go, when to go, and what you're supposed to cover. You have all the details that you need before you go. Now, this document actually helps you plan your actual fieldwork. This helps you plan your shoot. It's going to help you plan everything that you need. Now, let's go through the document, and then we see. Now, the first section is about the project information. This gives you the project's name, the location, the country or the county, the founder, project start date, field visit date. This is the day that you're going to fill. And now this document is open to be filled. So once you send this document, the management can fill the document as it's like a questionnaire that you're sending. Now, the project status, if the project is going through planning or if it's ongoing or completed, that gives you all that information. Now, on the second section, this is where you get the project overview. So you get the brief description about the project. That's where you get that information, why this project is important, what problem is the project addressing, and how does this project contribute to the organization's mission. And now this gives you an overview of the project. Now, section 3, it's where you get to understand the strategic pillars of depending on what the organization does. This is where you get strategic pillars classification. This is where you get what this organization does. Every organization has different pillars. So the pillars of the organization will be on this list, and they are going to put that if it's whatever it is, that, and then they're going to explain in details what type of what pillar that you're going to be covering. Now, on section 4, this is where you're going to cover the expected impact. The expected impact, this is what outcomes are expected from this project, and measurable indicators that should be documented. And then what evidence will demonstrate success? This is a very critical question. What evidence will demonstrate success? Because every content that you create has to match the organization mission, the organization vision, and all that information. On section 5, this is where it's about beneficiary and community impact. This is where the organization feels who is benefiting from the project, what changes are expected for beneficiaries. And now here there's are there individuals, families, groups, or communities with strong transformation stories? This point will help you as a visual, as an impact storyteller. This will actually help you choose the people that you're going to interview. This will help you choose the people that you're going to engage with. And then on section 6, it's the communications objectives. This is where, why is this project being documented? This is where now you know if you're documenting the project for social media, or you're doing for the website, or whatever it is that you're doing for, so that you can plan every shoot, you can plan every video or documentary or whatever it is to meet what the project or what the documentation is all about. And then here there's additional communication objectives. If there's any, they're going to list right there. Section 7 is where there's an interview planning matrix. This is where now you know who you're going to interview and what is their role in that organization or in that project. There's a project lead, technical expert. It's very important to have one of these people, government representative, community leader. Now, for this document, the organization will fill this document, the people that they are going to involve in the interviews, right? So they're going to fill this. If there's a project lead, they're going to fill the person's name, the role, and why this person matters. This is very important, so that you can know if this is a person that has gone through a certain impact, you can know that this is why they matter in that story. So there is all the information: women beneficiaries, youth beneficiaries, additional interview if there is any. Section 8 is where we're going to get a visual documentation requirements. This is also very important because it gives you the activities, location, infrastructure, what must be captured during the fieldwork. This gives you like what is it that you should not miss. As an impact storyteller, once this is filled, you know that there's some shots of activities that you should not miss. You know that there's some shots of the location, infrastructure, community engagement, and you know what kind of shots that you have to get. And before and after evidence, you know every type of shot that you should have. Then from here, we have section 10. This is partnership, governance, stakeholder engagement. If there's any key stakeholders who are involved, there's a list of them. The organization will list everyone that is involved. if there's any government participants, community participants, strategic partnership opportunities that you see, maybe there's an organization that came, maybe there's a donor or sponsor that will be present, this is where they're going to put that information. And then section 8 will be risk, challenges, and lessons. What are the current challenges that the organization is going through or the project is going through? What are the risks that are affecting the project and the lessons that they have learned? And then there's one very critical thing, and this is section 12, replication and scalability. Can this model be replicated elsewhere? If this is a good model, this model can be used for future projects. So the organization is going to mark that. If yes, they're going to mark that. And if yes, they're going to put some details right there. And then what makes this, okay, and then section 13, it's project narrative value assessment. Now, score each category from low to 1. Okay, now this gives you this, if this is marked human impact, it shows that the project, if the project is mostly about human impact, they're going to mark that here. If it's not, they're going to mark that here. So this will give you an overview of how important it is and what are the key areas that this project will be covering. So if it's a documentary, if the project is documentary potential, they're going to mark here based on if that's so. So from that, there's section 14, field communications completion checklist. There you have to put a checklist here. So once everything is done, you can know that you did everything. And then you have to put your name and the person who is going to approve. And then you have to leave a space for any suggestions that you might have left. They can put any suggestions here. And then that's it. That is a document that will give you as much information as it can. And from this document, this is where now you're going to move to the next step. Now, based on this document, this is where you're going to plan what stories that you're actually going to tell. You're going to plan who are the people that you're going to involve in your story. You're going to look at every other angle based on this document, based on the information that is presented in this document. You're going to look at every other angle that you can take, every other story that you can make, because there are some stories that they are not even scripted. There are some stories that you're going to find in the field. There's someone who is benefiting from the project. There's someone who is going through a challenge. There are lots of stories that you can tell once you get there. So the next document that you're going to create will be guided by this particular document, because this document has all the details. Now, the next document will be a field implementation plan. That is where you plan your shoots. This is where you plan the B-roll that you're going to collect. This is where you plan the people that you're going to interview and all this information. Now, that is the second stage. So this is the first phase where you get this document filled. The second phase is where you actually prepare your field plan. This is where you plan everything that is going to be happening on the field on that day. Now, once you have these two documents planned, now the next phase, which is the third phase, is where now you can now prepare your equipment. The equipment that you're going to prepare will be determined by the project, by the plan, the project that you have. Maybe there are some shots that you will need a drone. Maybe there are some shots you will need to be moving. So the equipment lists or the equipment plan will be based on what is it that you be going to that you will go to cover. So if there are some things like interviews, that means that you have to prepare microphones and everything. So your equipment plan will be guided by this document.